Hello, my name is David. This is Ross. We're from CastArt Studios, and we put together a small selection of videos about how to maintain our product and how to fix our product if you break it, that kind of thing. So today's little video is going to be a short one on how to general maintenance of our products and how to care for them, clean them, that kind of thing. So we've got a couple of pieces here to show you. Now, our pieces are made with a very high quality concrete that has a lot of additives in there to help with the freeze-thaw process. It's a really good quality concrete, but concrete itself in a thick format, in a large mass format, is very strong. You put it quite thin, which you need to do to get a lot of the details that we have, then it isn't as strong as you think. So you still have to be careful with it. It can be quite fragile. So when handling it, say within, for instance, with this bird bath, the corners there, if you put all the weight of the bird bath on there in a sharp manner down on a concrete floor, then there's a good chance you could chip that off. So you have to be very careful how you put it down, and it's a piece of art, you have to look after it. Now if you're moving it around, we recommend, obviously it's heavy, so 2 people if you're moving a piece. We use dollies a lot in the factory here, and we'll use a piece of carpet underlay or something like that just to stop any chips or damage to the piece. If you do chip a piece, which we talk about in subsequent videos, you'll notice that it's grey concrete underneath, and it's quite easy to touch up, so we'll talk about that a bit later, but do be careful when you move them around. Now, I'm going to talk about bird bath bowls. Now, the concrete itself, as I mentioned, we put a lot of additives in there which help with the freezing process, but anything that collects water and freezes, there's a possibility that it could crack. And that's really the action of the ice expanding, and it's a common problem with anything that collects water and freezes. So we recommend anything with a bird bath or a fountain bowl, then you need to take some kind of corrective action in the winter if it's going to freeze and have water in it. So Ross is just going to talk about this bird bath here and how we put it together.
So these bird bath and benches use a pipe keying system. We have a plug in the tops and then a bigger piece of pipe through the bases. It goes all the way through the bases. So they kind of, they key together. This helps in the stores or at home even to keep things from tipping and falling off. It's more of a safety thing than anything else, so you don't have it falling on anybody's toes. But that also helps with bird baths to take them apart in the wintertime. You can flip them upside down and just sort of keep them anywhere upside down. You can sit them on the side. Generally, it's a good idea to when you take the bird bath bowls off, they're not really that heavy, so it's a good idea to just take them inside and chuck them in the garage. So that's the maintenance for bowls. Fountains are the same. Like Dave mentioned, you can't have any standing water in anything. So whatever you have to do to make sure that there's not water in any kind of a bowl that's going to expand and crack it, you need to do that, yeah.
So anything like a bench is fine year-round outside. It's not going to collect water, it's fine. The base for this, you don't have to take that in, that's going to be fine, it's not an issue at all. So now we're going to talk a little bit about
just general setup.
Getting
rid of wobbles is a good idea.
Let's talk about that. Okay. So with orders to the retailers, they'll receive one of these kits, and these little touch-up kits. These kits are actually also available from us from a nominal fee if you wanted to buy one. And inside the kit there's some little touch-up paints, there's some epoxy putty and some sponges. We talk about that in other videos. But there's also these little guys here, these little shims. So Ross is going to talk about shims.
Okay, thanks Dave. Bird baths and benches, once again, because they use that the pipe method, there's quite often you're going to end up with just a very little wobble. Some people don't mind, some people would like to get rid of that. Bird bath tops, quite often when you rotate the bowl around, you'll find a spot where that wobble is very minimal. If you still want to get rid of that, you can still hear that. It's just a very simple matter. These shims are breakaway shims, so when you stick them in to the point where you've lost your wobble, it's very, very solid. You can just snap this off and away you go. You don't have the shim sticking out anymore. Same with the benches. I can probably just still use this shim. This bench is pretty good, but we can do better. We can get rid of that. We can probably just shim this part over here. We stick that in there, set that off, and now it's
Solid.
pretty solid. Yeah, and you know, the shims are really good for all sorts of benches.
Good.
All right.
So if you want to clean your piece, you know, it will weather very well. But you know, if it gets dirty and you want to clean it, then we recommend just with hot soapy water and a sponge, wash it off very gently. You don't want anything abrasive, because you could take off the surface finish if it was abrasive. Wash it off with a hose at the end. You can pressure wash it, but we recommend be really careful with that at a very low pressure and from a distance. You know, you put too much on it and you're going to take the surface off. The stain itself ingrains itself into the top eighth of an inch of the concrete. But you know, you take away that stain and you'll see grey concrete underneath. Now we do have a video about how to touch up little scuffs and stuff, or if you've got a little area that need to match, then it's pretty easy to do. We'll talk about that in another video. Now you'll notice on these pieces here there's a slight sheen. Now that's because we put on a sealer, and we do this at the factory. We do it for a couple of reasons. One of them, we kind of like the depth. It gives it a bit of depth of colour. And the other thing, it makes it a lot more manageable in stores and stuff for people, that they're not getting stain on their fingers. Now this sealer will burn off eventually. It's a water-based product, and it will burn off over a course of years, depending on the strength of the sun. So in a subsequent video, we're going to talk about how to reapply sealer. It's not necessary. You really don't have to do it, but if somebody wants to do it and refresh a piece or something like that, then it's possible to do.